Hello everyone, I am Leela Prabhugaonkar and I am from the Bodhi Academy. So today we'll learn chapter 7 of class 11th economics, that is environment and sustainable development. Now in this chapter we'll learn about we'll learn about the concept of environment. Then we are going to analyze the causes and effects of environmental degradation and resource depletion. We'll also understand the nature of environmental challenges facing in India and environmental issues to the larger context of sustainable development. Okay, so the environment left to itself can continue to support life for millions of years. The single most unstable and potentially disruptive element in the scheme is the human species. Now, human beings with modern technology have the capacity to bring about intentionally or unintentionally far reaching and irreversible changes in the environment. Okay, now so in the earlier chapter of class 11th economics we have learned about the what are the main issues with regards to the Indian economy, okay, and the economic development that we have achieved so far yet. So at the very heavy price, okay, at the cost of environmental quality. So as we step into an era of globalization that promises higher economic growth, we have to bear in mind the adverse consequences of the past developmental path on our environment and consciously choose a path of sustainable development. Now, to sustainable development is nothing but conserving for the future. Okay. Now, to understand the unsustainable path of development that we have taken and the challenges of sustainable development, we have to first understand the significance and contribution of environment to economic development. Now, with this in mind, this chapter is divided into three sections. Okay. The first is it deals with the function and the role of the environment that we will study today. The second section it consists of the state of India's environment, and the third section deals with the step and strategies to achieve sustainable development. Okay. So now the first thing is environment definition and functions. So environment is nothing but it is like the total inheritance, okay, the planetary inheritance and the totality of all the resources. Now here environment it includes two types, that is biotic and abiotic. Okay. Now uh, living elements and all these are biotic, and see environment consists of biotic and here abiotic. Okay, biotic is all like living animals, okay, living beings you can say, and abiotic, so biotic is your all the living beings and here we can say them as non-living, okay, like rocks, okay. um, so here the examples are given. Biotic is all the living elements, the birds, plants, animals, forest, fisheries. Abiotic elements includes the air, water, land, rocks, sunlight are examples of abiotic elements. Okay, so we'll discuss about the functions of the environment. So here we are studying the first part deals with the functions and the role of the environment. So the functions of the environment it performs four vital functions, four important functions. That the first part is supplies resources. Resources, there are two types of resources. Again, resources is nothing but anything which is available in the environment is a resource. Okay, resources is anything which is available in the environment is a resource. Now further we can classify resource as further we can classify resource as renewable and non-renewable resources. Okay, resource as renewable and non-renewable. So here we can learn that. So renewable resources are those which can be renewed or okay, so which can be used without the possibility of the resources being depleted or exhausted. Okay, like there is a continuous supply of resource. So renewable resources are those resources which can be renewed. Okay, which can be renewed. Okay, non-renewable, like here there is a continuous supply, we can say there is a continuous supply. But with regards to non-renewable, so examples of renewable resources are tree in the forest and the fish in the oceans. Okay, so non-renewable resources on the other hand, they get exhausted. Okay, they get exhausted. Okay, then with extraction and use, for example, fossil fuel, it assimilates the waste and it sustains life by providing genetic and biodiversity, and it also provides aesthetic services like scenery and all. So the environment is able to perform all this function without interruption of anything, as long as the demand is being made in the environment. Okay, so the demand on this result environmental crisis. So this is the situation today all over the world, and okay, and the function is within its carrying capacity. So this implies that the resource extraction is not about the rate of regeneration of the resources, and the waste generated are within the assimilating capacity of the environment. When this is not so, the environment fails to perform its third and vital function of life sustenance, and this result in the environmental crisis. So this is the first what we have learned. Okay, the rising population also is affecting the environment. Okay, and it affluent consumption and production standard of the developed world have placed a huge stress on environment. Okay, then many resources, they have become extinct, and waste generated are beyond the absorptive capacity of the environment. Now, absorptive capacity means the ability of the environment to absorb degradation. The result, we are today at the threshold of environmental crisis. The past development has polluted and dried up all the rivers and all. Okay, so besides the intensive and extensive extraction of both renewable and non-renewable resource, this has exhausted some of these vital resource. Okay, and we are compelled to spend huge amount on technology and research to explore new resources. Okay, now added to this are the health cost of degraded environmental quality, decline in air and water quality, the one thing. Okay, then expenditure on health is also rising, we can say. Okay, to make matter worse, global environmental issues such as global warming and ozone depletion, these are also contribute to increased financial commitment for the government. Thus, it is clear that the opportunity cost of negative environmental impacts, these are higher. Okay, here they have given a situation of global warming. um, yeah, so global warming is nothing but it is a gradual increase, okay, in the average temperature of the Earth's lower atmosphere as a result of the increase in greenhouse gases since the Industrial Revolution. So much of the recent observed and projected global warming is human induced, and this is caused by man-made increases in carbon dioxide and other greenhouse gases through the burning of fossil fuels and deforestation. Adding carbon dioxide, methane, and other such gases to the atmosphere with no other changes will make our planet's surface warmer. Okay, the atmospheric concentration of carbon dioxide and CH4, this has increased by 31% and 149% respectively. So global warming, we can say, is also rising, and here some of the longer term result of global warming are melting of polar ice with a resulting rise in sea level, then coastal flooding, disruption of drinking water supply, okay, dependent on snow melts, then extinction of species as the ecological niches disappear, more frequent tropical storms, and an increased incidence of tropical disease. Okay, now among factors that may be contributing to global warming are the burning of coal and petroleum products, deforestation, which increases the amount of carbon dioxide. These are some of the reasons why global warming is happening. Then, a UN conference on climate change was held in Kyoto, Japan, in which in the year 1997. So this resulted in an international agreement to fight for the global warming, which called for reduction in emission for greenhouse gases by industrialized nations. Okay, so this is with regards to the global warming. So here we have learned about the global environmental issues, such as just now we saw about the global warming and the ozone layer depletion. Okay, so thus it is clear that the opportunity cost of negative environmental impact is higher. But here the question arises that are environmental problems new to this century? The answer to this question, it requires some sort of elaboration. Okay, in just early days when civilization just started to begin, or before this phenomenal increase in population, and before countries took to industrialization, the demand for environmental resources and services, this was much less than their supply. Okay, so this means that pollution was within the absorptive capacity of the environment, and the rate of resources extraction was less, okay, than the rate of regeneration of these resources. So that time the environmental problem did not arise, but with the population, as population goes on increasing, and the advent of industrial revolution to meet the growing needs of the expanding population, now the things got changed. Okay, and the result was that the demand for resources for both production and consumption, this went beyond the rate of regeneration of the resource. So the pressure on the absorptive capacity of the environment, it is increased tremendously. Okay, and it is still continues even today, and thus what has happened is a reversal supply demand relationship for environmental quality. So now we are faced with the increased demand for environmental resource and services, but their supply is limited, no, due to the overuse and misuse. Hence, the environmental issue of waste regeneration and the pollution have become critical today. Okay, so this is the first part of this chapter. That is in this here it is mentioned that. The first part deals with the function and the role of the environment. Okay, the state of India's environment we'll discuss for the next part. Here one more thing is given, that is the ozone depletion. Ozone depletion is nothing but it refers to the phenomena of reduction in the amount of ozone in the stratosphere. Okay, now the problem of ozone depletion is it is caused by the high compounds of chlorine and bromine compounds. Okay, and the origin of these compounds are CFCs, that is chlorofluorocarbons, and this is used by a cooling substance like AC, air conditioner and refrigerator, or as aerosol propellants and halons. Bromofluorocarbons we can see. This is used in fire extinguisher. So as a result of depletion of the ozone layer, UV radiation comes to earth. Okay, and more UV radiations comes to earth, and this causes damages to living organism. So UV radiation seems responsible for the skin cancer in human. Okay, so it also lowers production of phytoplankton and thus affects other aquatic organisms. Now it can also influence the growth of terrestrial plants. A reduction of approximately 5% in the ozone layer was detected from 1979 to 1990. Since the ozone layer prevents most harmful wavelengths of ultraviolet light from passing through the Earth's atmosphere, absorbed and projected, decreases in ozone have generated worldwide concern, and this led to the adoption of Montreal Protocol, banning the use of chlorofluorocarbons as well as the other ozone depleting compounds. Okay, methyl chloroform and bromine compounds known as halogens. Okay, so this is all with regards to the part 1 of environment and sustainable development. For the next class, we'll see about the state of India's environment. Okay, thank you for watching my video.